picking up from where we left off, I want us to just go deeper into what we were discussing. I had asked you the question of what unions had done, right, to improve the equality situation, right, leaving aside the equity situation.
Yes.
Right. And yeah, so basically you'd answered my question. You said, look, they haven't really done much. And then you went on to speak about, look, inequality is a big problem in South Africa, and it's an old problem in South Africa, and therefore it's a difficult problem to solve. All right.
Yes.
So my question is, though, is that isn't or wasn't the point of unions, of establishing unions, primarily to target and fight this problem? You know, and I'm asking that because I find it to be unacceptable that if it is the case that they were meant to fight that inequality problem, that they haven't really improved it in such a much in the past, ever since they've been established. That's my question.
Okay, like I said, unions are basically there to tackle issues insofar as inequality is concerned. But then we get faced with policy issues, for instance, where management, we have, in most cases, people who are unequal in terms of pay, right? They don't get the same salaries. We find that people are in the same positions, and you'll find that a black person, for instance, making an example, who is, for argument's sake, an electrician with the same qualifications as that of a white person, but the white person will be paid more than the black person. So the inequality come in terms of unequal pay. It will come in terms of unequal promotions. There will be a disparity in terms of promotions because there are certain people that get promoted, maybe because they are favorites to the people who are in charge of such promotions. They would, for instance, what I can also mention is racism is also in some instances a driving force in those inequality issues. So yes, we are trying all of that, but in most cases, management would always downplay those issues and say, yes, these are the reasons why people are in certain positions that are on the same level, or people in the same positions are paid differently because of whatever reasons that they will mention. In most instances, they would say, this person is getting more pay because of his service. The person has been in the company or in that position for 10 years, and this person has been in that position for a period of between 2 and 5 years.
Okay,
but that's not the issue. The issue will basically be you have a black person that has been in the position for 10 years, and then you get a white person who's also been in the position for 10 years, but the pay of the white person is higher than that of a black person.
Yeah.
And that's not all. You get a white person that just joined recently. Maybe the person has between 6 months to 12 months service, and that person will get more pay than a black person that has been in that same position for a period of 10 years.
So Aizek, the issues that you're raising, I understand them not to be issues of, they are issues of equality, but there are issues of equality amongst employees, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but they are not issues of equality between the employee and the employer. So issues of equality amongst employees are issues of equity, because equity is about fairness in recruitment and payment and so on and so forth. So you've raised issues of equity right now, right?
Yes.
And you and I have agreed that unions, as well as just the labor space in general, has made big strides over the years at improving
Yes.
issues of equity, right?
Yes.
But we've also agreed that issues of equality, in terms of equalizing the employee to the employer, right?
Yes.
Okay, they haven't done much work there, right? So
Yes.
my question really wasn't the point, because not from what I understand, the union is there to make sure that when you are treating your employees, you treat them fairly. You don't have any favorites.
Yes.
So that's equity,
Yes.
okay? But
Yes.
then it also has to make sure that the employer does not exploit the employee, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And that is equality.
Yes.
All right. So now, in terms of equalizing that relationship, okay, between the employee and the employer, we've agreed that the unions have not done much work there. And my question is, but that was their point. Their point was to do work there as well. Why haven't they had any progress over the years in the equality area?
I would say basically, like I said earlier on, there will be a form of downplay where they would basically say that this person is not suitably qualified to be in this position. They will also say we've got a lack of people who are qualified to occupy certain positions for one to actually be in a position to equalize the positions within the system of the particular company. Now, it is very difficult because they create this loophole where we would basically say that you are supposed to, for you to have people to have the right qualifications for those particular positions, then you have to have policies that talk to training to enable those people to be empowered. Because, remember, this inequality comes from the years of apartheid. We had, and I'm not giving apartheid as a reason for us having that, but we had that, but we did not. I would not say 30 years was enough to get people empowered to be in the right positions and have the right qualifications for those positions, because ultimately you will have a person, like a white person that has been in a particular position, was groomed for that particular position over the years. And then when we became a free country, we did not have the necessary skills within our own to empower our own. Because remember, succession planning is part of this. Now, if we have a white person that has been in a position for all these years, that person will not empower a black person 100% to perform successfully in a particular position. So it is an inherent issue where you do not have, because at the end of the day, the white people will basically not be in a position to transfer skill, because we need to transfer skill. Now, how do we transfer? We need the very white people to transfer the skill to the black person who's supposed to be heading that particular workplace. And it becomes very difficult. And in some instances, you have them resisting to transfer those skills. Because at the end of the day, I have been working there for so many years now. Because of transformation or employment equity, I must create space for somebody who may not have the capacity nor the qualifications to perform in that position.
Okay.
So it is very difficult. And that is how they downplay the issue when we raise issues of inequality in the workplace.
So basically, what you're saying is that the way that inequality can be tackled, right? Firstly,
Yes.
to equalize the employee to the employer. The employee needs to be upskilled and developed and sort of educated, right? To develop his or her skills so that they can be empowered to sort of improve their lives and therefore uplift themselves. Right?
Yes, that's right. Because even if you look at your women, for instance, and I think in the workspace, you'll find that there is very, very few opportunities for women. So for us to make the workspace as equal as possible, one would then have to empower women so that they are also recognized in terms of what they can contribute in the workplaces.
Yeah.
And they have always been, not being given the opportunities to lead in companies. I mean, if you can look nationally in South Africa, there is very few women that are in leading positions, and it's mostly men. And when you look at men that are in these positions, if they have to be made aware that now we need to create a space for women, it is more like they would feel threatened that women are now going to take over the workspace that are ordinarily meant for men, you know?
Yeah.
So these are the other issues that we are sitting with.
Yeah.
And we have so many years to transform the situation in South Africa. But I think those who had leading positions in the workspace did not do enough to empower women so that they can also lead their work roles within the workplace.
So basically what you're saying then is that unions need to do more. Based on what you were saying is that sometimes employers are not doing their part to empower employees to transfer skills and develop them. So you're saying unions need to do more in pressurizing employers to do that?
Yes.
Okay, but tell me, what power does a union actually have? From so far, what you've said is that the union can then go to the CCMA, right? And then from there escalate the issue to the labor court, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, what other powers does the union have at its disposal?
I don't think unions have much power other than that, because remember, if there is a good relation in the workplace between unions and management, right? Mm-hmm. And they can draw up collective agreements that will regulate their relationships and how they should do things in the workplace. If that can work, then I can guarantee that we would not have such issues, because all we do year after year is to strive in getting employers to engage with the unions to better working situations, conditions at work and so on. But it takes time, because we can have a meeting today and not finalize issues, and then they will say, no, let's have another meeting next month, and we don't agree on certain issues, and then we have another issue the month following that one, up to a point where we waste a lot of time to a point where we then declare dispute. So there will always be, sometimes there's a lot of grandstanding, there's a lot of power play that occurs amongst the parties. Because the one wants to tell the other one that if you don't do this, this is what we are going to do. That also lead to issues of when you declare dispute of mutual interest, for instance, then it can resort to the unions acquiring a certificate from the statutory bodies to go on strike. Now, that is one of the remedies that we as unions would have. If the employer does not want to buy in on an idea that is going to work for everyone, then we have that remedy of going to the CCMA or bargaining council or statutory council and get, if the dispute is not resolved, then we get a certificate to strike. We start preparing picketing rules to a point where we ultimately go on strike.
Yeah. Okay. So
and that is the remedy that forces employers then to adhere.
Yeah. So basically, from what I understand now, right? Because the way I understand it, a union is a collective of employees in a workplace, right? And the only benefit that I can see, well, not the only benefits, there's a couple of benefits. Being a union, being a collective, all of you are paying subscriptions, which the union can use for legal representation in labor court, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I understand that benefit. Now, in your experience, aside from strikes, because strikes are collective actions, right? Yes. Aside from strikes, in your experience, usually when a union handles a dispute in the workplace, it usually handles a dispute on an individual basis, isn't it?
No, the dispute is handled mostly on a collective basis.
No, that's if it's dealing with strikes, isn't it?
Remember, whenever we engage with the company in terms of the conditions of employment of employees in the workplace, it will basically be for a collective of employees, not a single employee. The only time you deal with an individual is when there is issues of unfair labor practice or issues of unfair dismissal. Or issues of unequal pay. If there is one employee that feels that he's not being paid the same as a colleague, but they are doing the same job, then we deal with that employee on an individual basis. Then the union will then come in and represent that employee or deal with issues that pertain to that employee at the workplace. And when you don't find joy, then you go and use your external avenues to deal with those issues. So we deal with issues collectively, and we also have an opportunity to deal with them on an individual basis.
So if I'm a member of a union, for example, and I'm an individual who is not happy, so it's an individual case where I'm not happy about an issue, the union comes in to represent me. Now, if the union does not find joy, does the union, in your experience, often use, for example, the remedy of a strike to deal with an individual case sort of dispute? Does that ever happen?
No, not in my experience. Not in my experience, because a strike is an issue of mutual interest within a collective of employees, not an individual.
Okay, so basically then, if I don't find joy as an individual member, does the union proceed with me to escalating the case to the labor court?
That's correct.
So
because we will follow the process where we take it to the statutory bodies such as the CCMA, statutory council, or the bargaining council. Now, in instances where we refer a matter to the CCMA and the CCMA does not have jurisdiction or it lacks jurisdiction, the CCMA would obviously advise us to refer the matter to the labor court. Because obviously when they lack jurisdiction, there is a document that we call that they complete when a matter is not resolved. When a matter is not resolved, then they will indicate whether the matter can go either to arbitration, where the CCMA would have jurisdiction, or we can refer the matter to the labor court.
To the labor court, I had done an interview with the CCMA, and they did explain that process to me. So okay, I'd like to move on now. From your experience in dealing with employers, right? What is your understanding of employee engagement as a concept? The concept of employee engagement. Are you familiar with it?
When employees engage with management.
No. More like when management engages with employees. It's more from the management side.
Top-down exercise.
Yeah, it's a top-down exercise. In my opinion.
Well,
in my opinion, yes.
Well, I haven't actually been exposed to dealing with such.
I think you have. I think maybe it's just now we're talking about it conceptually now. All right. Yes. So let me just explain it from the conceptual. My understanding of employee engagement is the employer, right, undertaking certain initiatives in the workplace, right? Certain initiatives through workplace policies to make the employee feel better about working there, all right, in order to increase the productivity of the employee. Okay, so these are things that the employer will offer. Benefits, job benefits are one of them, right? Things like if you work here, we'll cover your petrol. We'll give you a housing allowance. If you work here, we have a canteen. You can buy food there. We can give food for free, or things like that. Okay.
Benefits.
Employee benefits. Yes. But also, it's not just employee benefits, but also other sort of, what do you call? I forgot the word, but other sort of offers in the office. So things that employees can do. There's a smoking area, or there's a what? There's a gym and things like that. Okay. So yeah, what is your take on that? Like, so is it a good thing, or is it, what is your understanding of it? Has it been a good thing for the employment relationship?
So in my opinion, it is a good thing because the employer is sort of extending its hand in making sure that it has happy employees at the end of the day, that it does not restrict employees to say, look, if let's just say somebody is a smoker, and that person cannot be persuaded to say you must stop smoking because this is a non-smoking zone or smoking company. So the company would go to an extent of giving certain benefits to employees in exchange for their productivity. So if it's more like some get a tea time, for instance, where in the basic conditions of Employment Act, it would say that an employee should take a break after every 5 hours of working. That is not more than 60 minutes per day. Now then you as employees can actually engage with the employer to say, instead of having 60 minutes as a lunchtime, we would want to engage with you in splitting that time into a tea time as well as a lunchtime. Because the 60 minutes would be for lunchtime only. So you can basically say, let's take 45 minutes and use that for lunchtime, and then take 15 minutes and use that for tea time. And then there is also issues of productivity. So when you reach a certain target, then the employer would say, if you reach this target, this is the incentive that we can pay you in exchange for the target that you have reached. Yes, that's basically, and with regard to smoking, they will tell you that we have created a smoking area within which you can go and have your smokes when you have an urge to go and smoke.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that the employer would have. Then it also has employee assistance, for instance. Let's just say somebody has a personal problem. Then the employer would enter in some form of an agreement with service providers that